Hello friends and family. Welcome to the very first video of our new channel called Come Sit at My Table. Melissa and I have been thinking for a while about maybe having a YouTube channel where we post some cooking videos because we've had several people ask us to do that. So today is the beginning. This is our very first video. It is the fall. It's late in September and the leaves are changing color and they are falling fast. And of course, in the fall, you start to think about soups and stews and chili. So today we are going to make a pot of my chili. This is a recipe I came up with years ago and we really enjoy it. And if you make it, I hope you like it too. Melissa and I have been out of town for a little while, and so tonight we have some friends coming by to eat dinner with us. We're excited to see them. We're excited that they're coming, and honestly, I've missed cooking, so I'm excited that I'm getting to cook a pot of chili. So, let me show you first what you need to make this chili. First, you need 3 pounds of hamburger, and you can see that I've already put some hamburger in my pot here in my Dutch oven. You need 3 pounds of it. That's 2. I'm going to add the other one in just a minute. And you need a large onion. Now, I have some Vidalia onion that I had several months ago, and I needed to do something with them, so I chopped them, put them in vacuum sealed bags and froze them, and I'll use a bag of that. But for the recipe, you need 1 large onion or 2 medium onions. I mean, really, can you ever have too much onion in chili? So you need those 2 things, and then you need these ingredients that are here on the counter. You need 1 packet, this is 1.25 ounces, of chili mix. I use McCormick's, but any brand will do. And I use original, but if you like your chili really hot, you can do the hot mix. You need 48 ounces of tomato juice. And I use our home canned tomato juice. This is actually 64 ounces. It's 2 quarts. I won't use all of this. I'll use 1 whole jar and about half of another. You need about 48 ounces. And if I don't have home canned, I just use Red Gold. I love that brand. You need 8 ounces of tomato sauce. You'll need a can of chili beans, and we will rinse and drain those. You need a little bit of chili powder. You're going to need a couple of cans of diced Ro-Tel tomatoes. I use the ones with green chilies because they just have a really good flavor. And these are 10-ounce cans, so you'll need 2 of those. And then you're going to need 1/4 cup of sugar. Almost 1/4 cup, just like a scant 1/4 cup. I know there's a controversy about whether you should put sugar in chili. I love it in there. It gives it a little bit of a richer flavor, and honestly, I don't think you can taste it. It just improves the flavor a little. So, we will start by putting our hamburger in our Dutch oven and chopping it up. I've already got 2 pounds in there, but we need 3. This is some hamburger from a cow that we had raised and butchered. And honestly, we're just about out of hamburger, and just about out of all the beef from that cow. So we probably need to get another beef ordered. And I will show you a neat little tool I have that actually came from Pampered Chef. This is I think it's called a meat chopper, but it comes from Pampered Chef, and it just makes really fast work out of chopping up something like ground beef or ground turkey. And I've even seen people use it to chop up like chicken breast, cooked chicken breast, if they wanted it shredded for tacos or a casserole or something. But it's just a really nice little tool. So if you can get one of those, you really should. All right, we're going to turn the heat on and start to brown our ground beef. Now, I know everybody in the world has their own chili recipe and their own way of doing chili. Some people like it chunky, some people like it really fine, like their meat really fine in it. Melissa and I are in the camp of liking our meat really fine in chili. You know, it's okay if it's chunky, but our preference is for it to be really chopped up and really fine. And while this tool does a great job of chopping it up into chunks, it can't get it as fine as what we like it. So I'm going to show you the trick I use to get it just as fine as it can be. Once it starts cooking, I have a little trick on how to get it to kind of mush up. This is the worst thing with this tool. You really have to get down in there with your fingers and get all that meat out of those crevices. But, you know, it's worth it. And I'm just going to tell you, my wife's father, my father-in-law, was a butcher. And he had no problem touching raw meat. But he did not pass that along to his daughter. Right?
It's not my most favorite activity, no.
So, my wife does not like touching raw meat. Sorry, I have to wash my hands. Touch that meat, so I've got to wash. And I guess that's just one of the reasons that she's not crazy about cooking. And I don't mind doing the cooking, so it doesn't bother me at all to touch raw meat. All right, so here's my trick to getting really fine meat. I stir. I stir, and I stir, and I stir. And yeah, sometimes it gets noisy. Can you see down in here? I even sometimes take my spoon and just kind of mash the meat. Just break up those chunks. The more you stir it, the more you mash it, the finer it's going to get. I'm going to need that to hold on to it so I don't get burned. And you can see down in there when you have a large chunk, just take the back of your spoon and mash it up and keep stirring. Now, if you don't like yours really fine, if you'd rather have big chunks in it, I don't really understand that, but okay. Then just don't stir it this much. Just let it cook and leave it in chunks. If this is the easiest way I know of. I know there are people that cook it in water and all kinds of stuff. I just don't see a reason to do that. It's an extra step that I just don't understand doing, but do it the way you want to do it. Most of us do it the way we learn from our parents or our grandparents. And honestly, this is the way my dad did it. And that's why I do it this way too. And we all had to learn somewhere, right? I can remember when I was about 9 years old, my dad telling me that he was going to teach me to cook if he taught me nothing else. Because he did almost all the cooking in our house. My mom did some of the cooking, but my dad did the majority of it by far. And he did that because he was one of 8 children, and growing up, it was his job to cook for the family. He cooked breakfast for his mom and dad and the 8 kids, and they had renters who lived in their attic, men who were working on the West Virginia pipeline. And he cooked for them, cooked breakfast and made their lunch for them to take to work. So he was used to cooking and he wanted me to learn to cook. So a lot of things I do, I do because that's how he did it. All right, if you'll look down in here, you can see how fine that is. It's chopped up pretty fine. So, I don't see any pink left. There's no pink left in the meat. So, we are finished cooking the meat. Now, I'm going to drain this and get it ready to put everything else back in. Finish the chili off. But I'm going to cut the camera while we drain the meat, and I'll bring you right back in just a few minutes. Actually, give me 1 minute and we'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, I have drained the hamburger, and there was quite a bit of grease on it. And you really don't want that grease in your chili. So drain it well, make sure it's all out of there. And then just return it to your pan. Pardon me for the noise, but you gotta get it out of there. And you don't want to waste any of that hamburger. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I watch cooking videos where people don't scrape the bowls, and it drives me crazy. You know, we had a very wise man who was one of our founding fathers who said, waste not, want not. That still is good for today. Melissa, do you know who said that?
Ben Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin. Very wise man. So, I mean, how long does it take to scrape out a bowl? Get everything out of there. That's why you're cooking. All right, so we have all of our hamburger back in our pot. Next, we're going to add our onions. Now, in my opinion, that's the hardest part of the whole recipe. Just getting a hamburger browned and drained is the toughest part, and that's not hard. You also are going to have to chop an onion, but I already had these chopped and frozen. We had a bag of Vidalia onions that we weren't going to be able to use before we left on vacation, so I just chopped them up, put 4 cups in a bag, and vacuum sealed them and threw them in the freezer. So I am going to put most of this in there. I'm probably not going to use it all right now, but we'll see later. I may finish and put the rest of it in there because really, I don't think you can have too many onions in chili. So there go the onions in. Nah, let's just put them all in. That's not too much. All right.
I like lots of onions too.
Yeah, me too. Onions are good, and they're good for you. Oh my goodness, onions are wonderful for you. Okay, so we've got the onions in. And now, the rest of it is just dumping it all in. So, we're going to start with our chili mix. 1 pack. It's 1.25 ounces of chili mix. That goes in. We're going to add 48 ounces of tomato juice. This is the tomato juice that I canned last fall, actually. So that goes in. Now, that's a quart, so that's 32 ounces. And if we need 48, we don't need but about half of this one. So we'll put about half of it in. That is mighty fine drinking right there. I'll just drink the rest of that after a while. Then we need a teaspoon of chili powder. It's a little over a teaspoon, kind of a heaping teaspoon. All right. We need an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Pardon the noise, but I have to open this. Dump that in. Waste not, want not. Get it all out of there. Then 2 cans, 2 10-ounce cans of Ro-Tel tomatoes. I use the ones with green peppers, but you can use whatever you want. Now, sometimes I use the hot Ro-Tel. Today I'm using mild because we are having company, and I don't want to make something too hot, but sometimes I use 2 cans of mild, like I'm doing today. Sometimes I use a can of hot and a can of mild. That makes it just a little bit spicy. Other times, if it's just going to be the 2 of us, I might use 2 cans of hot. But, you know, just do it the way your family likes it. And get it all in there. Now, we need a 1/4 cup of sugar. Actually, we need a scant 1/4 cup. We don't need a full cup or full 1/4 cup, so I will get a 1/4 cup and then I'll shake just a little bit of it out. Okay, can you see that? It's not a full 1/4 cup. It's close. All right, get that out of the way. And then the chili beans. Now, the chili beans have to be rinsed and drained. I don't know anybody who doesn't rinse and drain their chili beans, but you know, I guess you don't have to do that, but I do. I don't want that thick sauce in my chili, but yeah, good, they're all out. But if you like that chili sauce in your chili, then by all means go for it. But I just put them in the same strainer I drained my hamburger in. The hamburger was cooked, so it won't hurt to use the same strainer. Not like it had raw meat. And I just rinse them good, drain them, get the water off of them, and dump them in. All right. The only thing that's left to do is to turn the fire on and let it cook. Now, it doesn't really have to cook. You've already cooked your hamburger. My onions are pretty well mushed because they have been frozen. But, you know, you want to cook them just a little bit. Everything else is okay. Your tomatoes that you put in from the Ro-Tel, they're already cooked. The beans are cooked. Everything is cooked and ready to go. So really, all you have to do is heat it through. Nothing to do but heat it up. Now, I will tell you, and I think anybody who's made chili knows this, chili is always better the 2nd day, the 3rd day, the 4th day. Chili is never as good the 1st day as it is after it sits a while. That's because those flavors, the onions, the hamburger, the tomatoes, the chili powder, the chili seasoning, that all needs to blend together. I think they call it marrying. But it just needs time to blend and produce the flavor. So, if you know you're going to have this on a Wednesday night, make it on Tuesday evening. Make it before you go to bed. Make it in the early afternoon, late afternoon. Let it cook through just for a little bit. Let it cool, and before you go to bed, put it in the refrigerator.
We just got a wild hair to have chili supper today.
Yeah, we did. At the last minute, we invited friends to come for dinner, and we decided to make chili, and so I really don't have time for it to sit and blend the flavors, but it'll be fine. It's okay. But just, you know what? think I'm gonna put some more of that tomato juice in. Yeah, there it went.
So much for your
Yeah, I won't get to drink it.
drink you were gonna
Oh
have.
well. You know what? I have a lot more jars in there. So it's fine. Oh yeah, that's better. It's not quite so thick.
Better.
Yeah.
This also freezes really well, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh. That's the good thing about making chili like this. This is a small batch for us. I normally make a double batch, and sometimes I make a triple batch. We have a pot that is probably this big around and that tall. And a lot of times I'll make a double batch or a triple batch of it, and we'll eat on it for 2 or 3 or 4 days. And then what's left, we put in individual boxes and stick them in the freezer. And then when we need a meal, we take it out, put it on the stove in a pan or put it in the microwave. And in a few minutes, we have hot chili. So it freezes really well. It's amazing how well it freezes. And you know, I'm a big believer in freezer meals anyway. It's nice to have things already ready and to be able to just come in after work or after you've been out all day or working in the yard and be able to fix something at the last minute. So yeah, don't be afraid to freeze your leftovers and use them later. All right, we're gonna let this simmer for a few minutes just to get everything together. And we will be back in just a few minutes to do a taste test. Welcome back. The chili has simmered for probably 30 minutes, and I've stirred it quite often. You don't want it to just sit there and cook. So just barely simmer it, just keep it warm and stir it every few minutes, every couple minutes. In fact, after you get it simmering, you can even just turn the heat off and leave it set on the stove, and it will continue to heat through. You don't have to cook it the whole time. In fact, that's what I did. So we are ready to scoop it up and have a little chili. Can you see this?
It looks wonderful and it smells fantastic.
Well, thanks, baby. And you know, nothing says fall like a big bowl of chili. I don't remember where we got these soup bowls. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Did we
We've
get
had them
these
for a
in-
long, long time.
Maybe in Pigeon Forge?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe Pigeon
Yeah, I
Forge.
think it was in Pigeon Forge. All right. So there's our chili. Let's have a taste test. Come around here and sit down with me. Let's try this. Actually, I'm gonna take that out. Actually, I'm gonna take the camera and you go first.
It's really, really good. I don't mind being the official taste tester.
Don't burn your mouth.
It's delicious. I'm glad you put all the onions in it.
Not too much?
Not too much. It's really good.
Good.
And the extra tomato sauce, or tomato juice too.
Good.
Really good.
All right. See why I like to cook?
You're gonna love this, guys. All right.
It's nice when you have somebody who loves to eat. All right.
And that's me.
First, let me ask you to do us a favor. Would you go right below the video, right down here below the right corner? There's a little box that says subscribe. Would you please click on that? That's how we build our channel. That's how we get viewers. So if you would click the subscribe button, that would help us. And right beside of it, or maybe right below it, I can't remember, there's a little bell Looks like a little dinner bell. If you'll click that and then click the word all, that will notify you every time we add a new video to our channel. So you'll know we've added a new one. It'll just send you a message to say, come sit at my table has added a new video. And that would really help us if you would do that. We really would appreciate you joining Come Sit at My Table. The other thing I want to do is read the recipe to you real quick before we go, and we will post the recipe down in the description right under the video box. I call this Tom's Sweet and Heat Chili because it's got a little sugar in it, and I promise you, you will not taste it. It does not taste sweet at all.
No, it really doesn't.
And I call it Sweet and Heat because sometimes I use the hot tomatoes and the hot chili mix. But you don't have to. You can do what I did today and use the mild chili mix and the mild tomatoes, and it won't be hot at all. All right, so the recipe is 3 pounds of hamburger, 1 very large onion or 2 medium onions, or as much as you want. As you noticed in the video, I added a lot of onions. I just don't think you can have too many. It's 1 pack of chili mix, and that's a 1.25 ounce package of chili mix, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 46 ounces of tomato juice or more. Today I put in 64 ounces. Doesn't hurt it at all, but normally what I put is 46. But today, I don't know, it just needed a little more, so I used 64 ounces. But the recipe calls for 46 ounces. An 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, a scant 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 10-ounce cans of Ro-Tel tomatoes. And again, you can add more tomatoes. You know, if you've got 3 cans and you want to use them up, put all 3 in there. It's not going to hurt it. And then a 16-ounce can of chili beans that you drain and rinse. All right. I'm going to taste this too. It's not fair you got to taste it and I didn't. So here we go. By the way, I told you we're having friends over tonight for dinner, and we are going to serve this with pimento cheese sandwiches. I'm making my homemade pimento cheese, and we'll do a video for that too, and I'll post it. But you can serve a lot of things with chili. Sometimes we do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Sometimes we do grilled cheese sandwiches, and Melissa can tell you, I do love my grilled cheese sandwiches. You can serve a cheese ball with it, cheese ball and crackers. That goes really well with chili. Or a vegetable tray, like raw celery, baby carrots, cherry tomatoes, and put some ranch dressing on the side to dip those in. All of that's good with chili. You can put just about anything with chili.
Crackers and cheese.
Absolutely, crackers and cheese. But people think I'm crazy when I say this. We only drink milk with chili. And I know people are like, milk with chili? It's wonderful. When we have chili, we always have a glass of milk. So try it. If you've never done that, try a glass of milk with chili. It's really good. Okay, here we go. Taste test. Oh my gosh, that is so good. That tastes just like fall.
We had friends that made chili last weekend, and they were going to have it with the UK ball game.
Yeah. So it kind of made us want chili. I have to have another bite. I really think you'll love this recipe. It's a good one. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That just helps us. We really appreciate you doing that. I hope you love this chili. What, Melissa?
And that they came to sit at our table.
Oh, yeah. We do appreciate that you came to sit at our table today. We're always happy when you come sit at our table. Have a great day. Enjoy the chili if you make it. Thanks for watching our video. We really do appreciate it. Bye, everyone.